Greetings people, today we're building a tuber buggy. I really like the scale scene, and so I'm turning my Losi Comp Crawler that I have right here. This is my competition crawler with the bug body 2.2 class, dig and all that stuff. I really don't do the competition anymore. I like the scalers a lot more. I got a few of those. So today we are building this into a class 3 scaler. And in order to do that, we have to get rid of these. These are twin vertical plates. There's 2 of them, one on each side. Allows a lot of flex and articulation, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's illegal on the scale scene. In order to fit into a class 3, it has to be a custom built rig. So that's what we're going to be doing. Criticized before about how unsafe cutting tennis balls were. Look, my fingers are all still here. Hopefully people are smart enough to know how to do that. Today we're going to be working with a torch. We have the MAP gas end here, Home Depot, kind of a special. You'll notice I have my heavy duty welding glove. Yes, I do regular welding as well. I'm not dumb. I've got a big heavy piece of plate steel here that sticks out beyond the desk so that I don't burn the countertop. The countertop is also a heavy, this was actually used to be a chopping block. Pretty heavy duty, but I keep it out here so it doesn't burn. I've got a bucket of water here. I've also got a big bucket of water here. This is in case of any accidents. We can quickly extinguish any flame or fire that might be there. Good to have for a safety measure. Keep all your paper towels and stuff like that far away. Any paper and that thing away from your work area so you don't catch anything on fire. As you can see here, I've already started laying out my custom tube chassis. Basically, I'm using 3/16 inch brake line. I bent it by mostly by hand. I do have a bender from AutoZone, wherever, that I use to get that tight bend at the front. Most of it's bent by hand though, and what I'm doing is just following the shape of the bug body. I want to use the bug style and follow that shape. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to weld. It's pretty easy. Everybody uses the, they say this is the best, the Stay Silv safety silv. It comes in a kit. It's about 40 bucks for the solder, and this is the flux. Because I didn't understand how it worked, I'll tell you, even if you already know, you put the flux, you need this flux, it's like a paste, little brush, hard to see. Take that, you put it on both joints that you want to join together. Wherever you put the flux, that's where this solder is gonna, this solder is gonna go. So here, I have already put my flux onto, you'll notice that I use a Sharpie to mark out where I want it to line up. I've already put my flux on both sides of this, and now what we're going to do is we're going to get it red hot with the MAP gas. Once it is red hot with the MAP gas, our solder will flow right into it without any issue. And then I'll make a good solid joint, and then I'll be able to just do it to the other side. Alright, so hopefully you're going to be able to see what I'm about to do here. I am going to use a torch. I like this torch because it's just instant on. Get it heated up. Waiting for it to get red hot on both pieces of the metal. You'll see the flux start to melt. It's hard to see there, but as soon as that flux starts to liquefy, then you're able to touch this to it, this solder to it, and it flows right into your joint. if you did it right, you'll have a nice solid weld on there that shouldn't break apart. You'll notice I had to reheat that a little bit and kind of push that back into place. Obviously I didn't want to touch it with my glove, so I kind of pushed it with the piece of solder, but it had moved over just a little bit and I wanted that to be solid on there. Put my flux on and lined it up again. Now let's do this side. Sweet. You can see that that is still glowing. I don't think this camera will do a good zoom in. Not really. Let me try getting back. Camera was not made for close-ups, obviously. You can kind of see there that my solder it fit in there pretty good. I'll clean that up with a Dremel. You know, I'll take and I'll sand that up and clean it up, and then the whole thing will get painted when the rig gets assembled there. But you get the general idea now of how to solder, hopefully. Hopefully I showed you enough of how to do that, and perhaps I can show you some more video later on. I thought I'd show you a bit more of this. I have I've put in where my shock towers are going to go by lining it up with my chassis here. Shock towers go there, so I got a couple pieces of plate that we're going to cut that are going to go there in between front, rear. I've made a roll bar hoop for inside the body, and then I've hand bent, and this is just trial and error, so I didn't really need to show you how this goes. I just carefully bent it till it matched what I wanted, then I laid another piece beside it and bent it to match. And what I've got here, I've hit this with a grinder to kind of fish mouth it a little bit, that, you know, give it a little curve so it sits around this one and get the angle. And a binder clip it together and a piece of wire to hold it tight while I put the flux, and then heat it up and solder it. And that's pretty much all there is to that part of it. And it's just one of those, I'd never done this before and just jumped in and started doing it. So let's hope it turns out. Kind of looks like it's hand bent. You know, it's not as straight a lines as something else, but not bad for a first time building a tuber, I don't think. So we'll see how it turns out. So I'm trying to figure out why. It definitely feels like it can tip to this side more. I got an issue with my front hoop catching on my servo. And it could be just hanging because it's catching on the servo. Because when I lift it up, it doesn't feel like it's snagging. So I think that hoop is just catching. And that just follows the body line. So maybe I need to cut this piece off right here. So here it is, all put together with the body on it. Got our tuber chassis that I made. I got issues because, like, right here where the suspension should bring it back, there's like a snap point almost, and it wants to stay leaned. So I'm not sure how to fix that. Maybe some of you guys who have built stuff like this can tell me. Obviously it's something wrong in my geometry of my steering and stuff, or in my links. Got plenty of speed. The only thing I'm noticing, I can flip it right over. I think I need some weight in my rear wheels. I have some in the front, but not in the rear. A little bit in the rear might fix that problem. seems to crawl fine. Take it down here to my rock pile. Notice that the truck is, or the rig is still leaning hard. Never did that when it was actually a comp chassis, so obviously I have something wrong in, I don't know what, maybe my springs, maybe my shocks need spread further apart, back more. I don't know. Definitely have issue with that. It's a little bit hard to see, but here's my rock pile. I'm trying to crawl one-handed. I think the battery's dead though. Yeah, battery's dead. No crawling for the people. 1500 cell battery. I don't even know if I can make it through one whole course with that.